Hey up, guitar at day. What I've got here today is a bit of a rarity for you. This is a 1988 G&L Interceptor of the third body style, and I bought it in 1998 in a long gone music store in Damansara Utama here in Malaysia, which was called SLC Music, which was sort of a branch of Swee Lee out of Singapore, and they pretty much just grey imported stuff from their Singapore dealership into Malaysia. And the rumour had it, it was actually a sinecure for the slightly less business able younger brother of the guy who was currently running Swee Lee. Sent him up to Malaysia where he couldn't do any harm. But anyhow, there was SLC Music, and I went in there, I found them, went in there one day, and they had this hanging on the wall, and I immediately knew what it was because I was very active on the G&L discussion page at the time, and I had seen pictures of similar guitars. Now, the Interceptor was a very strange beast for G&L, because G&L, when Leo Fender was at the helm, were quite conservative about the body shapes and the markets they went for. And these guitars were very much a departure. They were obviously trying to cash in on the 80s metal boom, and the earlier models of the Interceptor, the first two body shapes, were actually very radical indeed. They had almost an X-type body shape, and were available in various pickup configurations, you know, hum. Most of them were hum single though. Now, this one is an example of the third body style, but when I bought it and I took a photograph and I posted it on the G&L discussion page, and guys from G&L got to look at it, they came back and said, we don't remember ever having shipped one like that out of the factory. Specifically two humbuckers, most were hum single, and most of them had bodies which were painted in two-tone. If I come up to the camera here, you can see that there is get the angling right, you can see that there's a sort of chamfered edge front and back, and in a lot of the examples that they shipped, these two parts of the body were painted different colours. So for example, there'd be a dark metallic blue, and then this cambered area would be black. However, if you look at the 1988 G&L catalogue, you see there's a guitar that's almost identical to this, but it has a hum single configuration. So anyhow, if we go top to bottom, it's got shallow non-locking machine heads, maple neck, rosewood board. If the catalogue is to be believed, a maple body. There are a few paint chips here, and it certainly does look like a light coloured wood. It looks more like maple than mahogany, and it is quite heavy. There are two shallow humbuckers, two volumes for each, one for each pickup, and a master tone, and a variation on the G&L dual fulcrum bridge. Now, again, if I can get this so the camera can see it, you can see that it's possible to set this up in both right-handed and left-handed configurations for the bridge. With the whammy bar can be plugged into either of these two bosses here. Also, if you look, there are fine tuners on that bridge, which is quite strange as the guitar doesn't have a locking trem system. However, a lot of these Interceptors were shipped with a behind the nut lock, so having the fine tuner bridge on there makes sense. Anyhow, I bought this guitar in 1998, and it had never been sold before, but it had been bounced from bankrupt dealer to bankrupt dealer at least twice before the store that I bought it from got it in stock. and I bought it from a company called SLC Music, who were a sort of overseas adjunct to Swee Lee out of Singapore, and essentially sold instruments and amplifiers that they were grey importing from their Singapore dealership into Malaysia. I went in, first time I found the shop, and I saw this hanging on the wall and went, I know what that is, I have to have it, because I'd seen similar guitars on the G&L discussion page. I knew it was a very unusual model, and I just thought, you know, I'm never going to get an opportunity to pick one of these up again, I'll buy it. What I didn't know, what I found out a week later when I got chatting to someone else on the G&L discussion page who happened to be in Malaysia, was that they had a matching Skyhawk guitar to this, and he'd gone in and bought that because it was in slightly better condition. This one had been knocked around a bit, been in the showroom 10 years, so there's a couple of chips off of it. Okay, so what does it sound like? Well, again, I'm using the clean channel on the Laney IRT Studio amp, which I'm playing through a Laney 1x12 combo. This is the bridge humbucker. It's a very, very bright sounding humbucker. I have taken this guitar to jam sessions and had some of the local blues guys play this, and one of them actually offered me to do a straight up swap for his brand new Strat for it. He just said, look, this thing sounds like I'm playing single coils, but they're humbuckers. Anyhow, here's both pickups on together. And the bridge humbucker. Try it again with some dirt. I'll go onto the crunch channel of the Laney IRT Studio. Both pickups on together. And the neck humbucker. So a rare instrument indeed. When I bought this guitar, it was missing a couple of parts. There was one of the fine tuner screws had gone walkies, and also it had no whammy bar. So fortunately, the parts, well, the whammy, the actual bar boss and the bar itself are interchangeable with the current G&L bridges. So I was able to order a replacement boss and arm from the G&L web shop. And again, from the G&L DP discussion page, somebody at the G&L factory found me one of these screws kicking around in a drawer and sent it to me. Otherwise this would be missing a fine tuner. But again, you know, they're pretty much there for decoration. You don't need them with a non-locking whammy system. So there we are. A rare bird indeed. 1988 G&L Interceptor. Originally in white, faded to yellow, 2 humbuckers. Cheers!